Welcome to what is the final classic car auction by iconic auctioneers of 2024. It's the Christmas one, and this is a preview video, and you're joining me probably on Friday when this video goes out for viewing day, either online or in the room here at the Warwickshire Exhibition Centre. I've got the catalogue, I've been making notes with my pen. We're going to have a walk around, but before we do, it's worth saying that the actual auction starts on Saturday the 7th, from 12 noon, and there's also an online only automobilia auction at 6 p.m. Whether you want to come here in person or whether you want to bid online, go to iconicauctioneers.com. I'm Jonny Smith, I'm feeling exceptionally Christmassy, and this is the Late Break Show. Now, a lot of people try and justify 911s because they're a practical sports car, and they are. They're a 2+2. This Ferrari is a 2+2. This is a 1986 Mondial 3.2 QV. But this could also be the cheapest Ferrari on sale in the UK because it's got an estimate of 20 to 25 grand. There's a reason for that. The paint's not great in a few places, top of this door, roof line going down there, but it was also a Category D recorded damaged vehicle back in 1998. The reason why I'm interested in it is because since then, it's had no expenses spared work done to it, bought by the vendor 5 years ago. And the list of stuff that it's had done mechanically is fantastic. Timing belts, pulleys, injectors, fuel system. I mean, so much stuff it's had done. It's got 348 wheels with new tyres all round. Brake calipers have been colour-coded, rebuilt with new pistons. So I'm wondering whether this car, it's done 66,900 miles. I'm wondering whether, actually, if you like something that could be taken to the next level with paint, but mechanically it runs and drives well, and you're not too bothered about the fact that it's got that category against it, you might get this for 20 to 25 grand, which is really cool, right? So much cheaper than a 308. I've always liked these. I love this back window. Lot 981. We've got cars coming in still, but I really want to talk about this. This is a Toyota MR2 2004 third gen car. I think they made these from 99 to 2006, so this is a later car. Why am I so interested in it though? Well, because this car has only done 9,100 miles from new. It's a UK car supplied from Lincoln. It's still got the dealer stickers. It's still got all of the MOTs, keys, handbook, everything. It's in such delightful condition. Some call these the Mr. 2, some call these the Toyota Turd, the Med, but to drive, they really are great fun. And I do wonder whether or not in this condition, which is really delightful condition, I do wonder whether or not someone's going to buy this for a collection or whether somebody's going to buy it and just use it, because you can. This is not too much of a classic, it's not too old. In terms of estimate, 10 to 12 grand for a car that's not even done 10,000 miles. It's no surprise that the Fast and Furious films that are well over 20 years old now have just escalated the prices of cars like the Supra. We've had a couple in at our iconic auctions before, mostly standard ones. This is not standard, you can probably tell from the strange wide body kit. This is an Abflug wide-bodied Supra Mk4. 2JZ under the bonnet, straight six, 400 horsepower this thing is. And this is lot 958, one of two lots which have got aftermarket body kits that are actually desirable if they've been fitted properly and if the car's been well preserved, because it's that era, which that 90s, early millennium era, which we're all so fond of now. Estimate 20 to 25 grand, 76,000 miles. This is a Japanese import car that came in, I think 20 years ago, 2004, and it's an automatic. It's ranking 105 points out of 135 points, but it's so fast and furious inside. Look at the buried door handles to show how wide this body kit is on the side. But I remember this sort of style of steering wheel and retrim and the Clifford alarm flashing on the window. It's so of its time. And the A-pillar boost gauges. So this thing's cool. I actually think the back end is probably the most attractive part. Me and Phil were looking at it. This is probably the most flattering angle of it. And it'd be interesting to see how much interest this thing gets. So the body kit includes front bumper, eyeliner, bonnet, front and rear fenders, door, side step, rear bumper, spoiler, door mirrors, inner fender and various mounting hardware. The Simone racing steering wheel, Pioneer DVD install, so of its time. I worked on Max Power when this stuff was like en vogue. It comes with old invoices and a recent service which cost more than £1,200, no advisories on the MOT and the private number plate. Almost looks like a 90s concept car, right? We've had a lot of these through the doors this last year at Iconic Auctioneers. I don't get bored of a classic Impreza. They're small, they're potent, and they're still great fun to drive. But this one caught my eye, lot 960, because this is a 1997 Impreza Turbo Catalunya edition. It says so on the front wing. What is that? Well, the previous year, 1996, Colin McRae won the Catalunya round of the WRC. This was a commemorative special edition made by ProDrive. This car estimates, with no reserve, 8 to 10 grand. And I'm thinking to myself, one of 200 of the Catalunya editions. They didn't make that many of them. And this car came with black and red features. There's a lot of black and red accents throughout the car. It's based on a Turbo 2000 UK vehicle. And it's finished in these amazing white alloy wheels. I think it came with gold wheels as standard. The nemesis for all of the classic Imprezas really is rot. So you have to look carefully. There's a little bit of bubbling on that wing, the rear wing. Seller rating 81 out of 135 here. But new, these were £21,100. If you could get this for something like £8,000, I think it would just be such fun. I sat in it earlier and I love the simple dash of these. At the time, they looked a bit dowdy, but weirdly now with overcomplicated dashes of new cars, those sculpted seats and the simple driving position is just, it's just really cool. I love these. Lot 956. You hardly ever see Vauxhall's first generation Astra GTE. In fact, the second gen is really rare in standard form now. But this car here could be the GTE that really starts to muscle in on the prices of fast forwards, because fast forward prices for a long time now have just kept rising and rising. What is it then? 1984, and it's recently been repainted, but I think this is a one former owner car. So this thing ranks highly. 121 out of 135 points on the seller rating. Polar white. These were 115 horsepower. So these competed with the first generation Golf GTi. And the Mark 1 Golf GTIs get all the column inches when it comes to hot hatches. But I'm really, really fond of these. I'm really fond of these indeed. And they are so much harder to find than a Mark 1 Golf GTi or an XR3i or RS Turbo Series 1. They're not as valuable, but they're just harder to find. There's an estimate of 22 to 28, thousand pounds on this, but you only need to look inside it and look around it. It's not perfect, but it's really, really good. And so unashamedly 80s. The Late Break Show is now on TikTok, so head to TikTok now, follow us, and in the case of the auction previews, I try and take some videos on my phone and we try and put up the sale price of these cars after the auction's finished. Lot 925. It's hard to believe that these are 20 years old now, but this Bentley Conti GT has caught my interest because this is a 20 to 25,000 pound car potentially that's done 16,000 miles from new, and it's a one-owner car. So in a world where you can get finance quite easily, and you could try and finance yourself into a brand new or a nearly new Bentley, you could buy outright a really mileage young Conti GT that's cypress green over magnolia leather, supplied new by Broughton's of Cheltenham. It's done no mileage at all. I mean, like that 12-cylinder engine, 16,000 miles. Imagine if you got this for 25k or under. Brilliant value, absolutely brilliant value. You've got to obviously factor in living with it and paying the cost, but there's enough independent Bentley specialists. I just think, what a temptation. Not usually a car I would gravitate towards, but sometimes when you find these things in such amazing survivor condition, you can't help but be compelled. And this is one of those, lot 916, 1999, Mercedes CLK 320 Elegance Cabrio. This car is a one-owner car, one family-owned, and it's done 6,000 miles from new. It's a real time warp. The hood, I mean, the hood looks new. When you open the door, you're greeted on both sides by the plastic still on the trims of the sills and up the side here. This thing is just doesn't sat around. It's just bizarre, but an amazing potential buy. 135 out of 135 on the seller's rating. I've never seen that, I don't think. 3.2, 18 valve V6, 7.4 to 60, and it has everything that you'd expect. All the history. Do you buy it and leave it, or do you buy it and just put, you know, 1,000 miles a year on it and just cruise around? It is obviously a cruiser. This is not a sports car. But yeah, cool to see. It's a buyer's market for Jags at the moment, and there seems to be an abundance of three-pedal coupe Jaguars in this sale. There's this one, which is obviously an XJC V12 three-pedal car, which is 16 to 20 grand estimate, but there's loads of other three-pedal Jags. Then there's this one, lot 978, XJS, again, manual, 38,000 miles from new. Another manual car, Series 3 E-Type Jag V12. Estimate, 30 to 35 grand. I don't profess to know a great deal about this particular SD1 lot 924, but I saw in the literature here, the little book, this car was rebuilt about 20 years ago. It's a 1979 car. To have a 4.6 V8, apparently once fitted to one of the Paris-Dakar Land Rover Discovery races. It's got a manual Vitesse 5-speed gearbox. It's also got modified suspension and brakes. I think it's got brakes from a Jag XJS V12. Yeah, discs and calipers, aero-equipped hoses, Vitesse alloys. So an extensive upgrade on the lower 60mm, polybushed all round. I think this might hustle as a bit of a driver's car. This is estimated 10 to 12 grand, which seems good value. As always with these cars, like the XJSs and SD1s, rot is your nemesis. So finding a solid example or a well-restored example is the key here. But yeah, lots and lots of details on the restoration of it. It's done 63,000 miles. MOT till November next year, so it's got a year's MOT on it. What do we think? This or an XJS? Those of you who have watched my channel for a little while know that I saved one of these cars, a smart Roadster Brabus edition, from certain death, and I'm doing it up. In fact, it's going to go for its MOT in about a week. But anyway, this is a different kettle of fish. Mine's done nearly 200,000 miles. This one here, and that one actually, have done 5,500 miles from new, and that one's done 5,000 miles from new. This thing is an absolute time warp. I know we sometimes say this, that they are like new. These cars have been in a collection, stopped being driven in 2011. This is a 2006. That's a 2003 notchback, non-Brabus. But these cars really are like new. In fact, I'm going to be perving around this one after we finish filming to take some reference shots, because this is like you'd imagine. These are driver's cars. They're wonderful. The Brabus is just over 100 horsepower, and both ranking 132 out of 135 on the seller rating. These wheels, these Brabus wheels, are notoriously weak and have nearly all been refurbished. This one, they've never been touched. it's just been sitting. Black with the silver tritium safety cell. This is one of those cars you should drive before you die. They really are like a micro machine 911. I'm a massive fan. And so is a man with a moustache called Gordon Murray. The final edition, this one. Oh, what a rarity. They're both classics now, bona fide classics, but the question is, what are they worth? These are estimated to go from £10,000 to £12,000, which I think is grossly undervaluing them when they are box fresh. Box fresh, little Boxsters. I've said it before, I've owned a couple of these before, Fiat 500s, the original one. You can see how small it is because there's a modern one next to it. This particular one, lot 909, is a right-hand drive UK car, which is one of the reasons why I was interested to see it. It has this lovely kind of yellow ochre egg yolk finish to it, recent repaint. I can see the repaint has some reaction, minor reaction in places, but it's estimated £10,000 to £12,000. It's still got the 499cc, 18 horsepower air-cooled twin in the back. And this is a recorded mileage of 64,000 miles. If you've never driven one of these before, you really ought to. It's all about the 0 to 30. If you like subtlety, don't look at lot 992, a 1988 Cadillac Brougham Gold edition. I've actually had a couple of Cadillacs. I had a 70s one, and I did have actually an early 80s one. But this gold edition is something, apparently it was offered to ultra special VIPs and people like that, which makes it have some gold additions. What's it got? Gold accents on the grille, bonnet ornaments, boot badging, Cadillac wreath and crest around the door locks. And that lovely coach line. But inside, I mean, these things were so ridiculous and OTT inside. It's chintzy and it's so of its time, with the quilting and the wood. But having owned one, it's not a car you take seriously. You just enjoy cruising around in what is basically a three-piece suite. You know, and in a world where people are lapping up the Rolls-Royce Shadows, would I rather have one of these than a Shadow 2? Hell yeah, I would. It's also a damn sight cheaper to look after and run because fundamentally it's quite a simple beast under that separate chassis. What is this though? 129 out of 135 points. 50,000 miles from new. Apparently it was owned by some VIP chef in San Diego. It looks very, very good though, I have to say. Not the biggest Cadillac at the time. This one's awaiting its final clean, but I wanted to come and look anyway. The paint looks really good, as I said, apart from these parts were made of rubber or plastic that divide the chrome rear bumper, the gigantic chrome bumper, with the body. This needs repainting. It's got a bit hot under the collar, and I think that's because the exhaust exit's down here. But apart from that, really, really good. And padded vinyl roof. No sign of bubbling, which is always a good thing. Probably the best made Golf GTi of all time when it comes to overall quality, I reckon. I've owned a black F-Reg Mark II 3-door like this. This one though, estimated at 16 to 20,000 quid, which seems a lot of money for an 8-valve. Until you read, this has got less than 55,000 miles on the clock, and the owner has recently spent in excess of 10 grand detailing the under chassis of the car and the engine bay area. This paint is apparently original, so this is a really impressive survivor car. Standard condition, still on the BBS rims, cloth interior. Oh gosh, I really enjoy these, and they're stone cold classics, as you well know. This one here, 94 out of 135 points, stainless steel exhaust, MOT till October next year, original stamp service book and book pack. It's really nice. Two owners, that's all. You might remember ages ago on the Late Break Show, we did a car cave with a lovely guy who was obsessed with 80s and 90s tuner spec Mercedes. Now this W126 S-Class, my favourite S-Class, 1990, so a late car. It's not a V8, it's a 300 SE, so a straight six car. But this has got the Frederic Duchatelet body kit on it and interior kit, I believe. And that's what makes it special. So ox blood inside, that's smoked silver, I'm sure it's smoked silver. This is very cheap, and the reason why it's cheap is because a long time ago, apparently, Category C insurance loss, vehicle extensively damaged but repairable. Insurer decided not to repair. This was back in 2013, so a while ago. But the car looks like it's been rebuilt to a really good standard, and it passed all the necessary identity checks and things in 2014. I really like this. We have seen, I mean, if this car hadn't been category damaged, I would say this car would be worth at least double. It's got the wheels, those really, really flat Duchatelet wheels. If you like chunky body kits and you like really opulent 80s inside, this is one of those cars. Estimate 12 to 15 grand, it's lot 937. Well, that concludes my whistle-stop tour of this Classic Car Auctions by Iconic Auctioneers. You can come, you can view, you can bid in person on Saturday the 7th, or you can just simply go online, look at this catalogue online and register and bid in your front room. Go to iconicauctioneers.com. All that's left for me to say is happy bidding and have a very happy Christmas. Thanks for watching.